India's job market just delivered some surprising news that has economists divided, and the implications might be bigger than anyone realizes. Fresh data released this Monday, August 18th, 2025, reveals that the country's unemployment situation has taken an unexpected turn, with joblessness dropping to levels we haven't seen in months. But here's where it gets controversial. The numbers tell a story that might not be as straightforward as government officials want you to believe. The latest periodic labour force survey, compiled by the Ministry of Statistics and Programme Implementation through their Labour Bureau, has uncovered some eye-opening trends that deserve your attention. The headline grabber? Unemployment rates have tumbled by a notable 0.4 percentage points, sliding down from 5.6% in June to 5.2% in July 2025. But that's just scratching the surface of what's really happening in India's employment landscape. Women are making strides in the workforce, though the pace might surprise you. The labour force participation rate, essentially the percentage of women either working or actively seeking employment, climbs from 24.5% in June to 25.5% in July. While this represents progress, it raises some uncomfortable questions about why the participation remains dramatically lower compared to men, who maintain a participation rate of 57.4%. The overall participation rate across all demographics sits at 41.4%. Now, let's break down what these technical terms actually mean for everyday people. The labour force participation rate, or LFPR as statisticians call it, measures how many individuals aged 15 and above are either employed or actively hunting for jobs during any given week. Think of it as a snapshot of economic engagement. The higher the percentage, the more people are involved in the formal economy. The geographical divide tells an even more compelling story that most analysts are overlooking. Nationwide, the LFPR for people aged 15 and above reached 54.9%. However, dig deeper into the rural-urban split and fascinating patterns emerge. Rural areas demonstrate higher engagement at 56.9%, while urban centres lag behind at 50.7%. This contradicts the common assumption that cities offer more employment opportunities. And this is the part most people miss. The gender disparities become even more pronounced when you examine rural versus urban breakdowns. In rural communities, men aged 15 and above show a participation rate of 78.1%, while rural women register 36.9%. The urban scenario paints a different picture entirely, with women's participation dropping to just 25.8% compared to men's 75.1% in the same age bracket during July 2025. These numbers raise some uncomfortable questions. Are urban environments actually less welcoming to female workforce participation? Or do cultural and economic factors play larger roles than we're acknowledging? The unemployment rates themselves reveal another layer of complexity that deserves scrutiny. While the national unemployment rate for individuals aged 15 and above stands at 5.2%, the rural-urban divide is stark. Rural areas enjoy a relatively lower unemployment rate of 4.4%, whereas urban areas struggle with a significantly higher 7.2% unemployment rate. This flips conventional wisdom on its head. Shouldn't cities, with their diverse economic opportunities, be performing better? The gender-based unemployment statistics add another dimension to this puzzle. Rural women face a 3.9% unemployment rate, while their male counterparts deal with 4.6% unemployment. However, urban women encounter a troubling 8.7% unemployment rate, nearly 2 percentage points higher than urban men's 6.6%. But here's where the data gets really interesting and potentially controversial. The worker population ratio, which simply measures what proportion of the total population actually holds jobs, shows some encouraging movement. In rural areas, this ratio improved from 53.3% in June to 54.4% in July for people aged 15 and above. Urban areas maintained a WPR of 47%, while the national average reached 52%, representing a 0.8 percentage point improvement from the previous month. These improvements sound promising on paper, but they raise critical questions about sustainability and underlying economic health. Are these gains driven by genuine economic growth, seasonal variations, or statistical adjustments that might not reflect long-term trends? The survey methodology itself deserves acknowledgement for its comprehensive scope. Researchers examined 89,505 households across the country, with 49,355 located in rural areas and 40,150 in urban zones. The human element was substantial too. 379,222 individuals participated in the survey, including 216,832 rural residents and 162,390 urban dwellers. This extensive data collection effort represents one of the most thorough snapshots of India's employment landscape, but it also raises questions about interpretation and policy implications. So here's the million-dollar question that policymakers and economists are grappling with. Do these numbers represent genuine economic recovery and improved job creation, or are we seeing statistical fluctuations that might reverse in coming months? The persistent gender gaps and urban-rural disparities suggest that structural challenges remain deeply embedded in the system. What's your take on these employment trends? Do you believe the improvement in unemployment rates reflects real progress? Or are we missing crucial context that these statistics don't capture? And perhaps more controversially, should we be celebrating these numbers when gender inequality in workforce participation remains so pronounced? Share your thoughts and experiences. Are you seeing these improvements reflected in your community? Or do these government figures seem disconnected from ground reality?